Hey y'all, so this is a video made by the Digital Education Hub and me, Akash Arora, and this video is going to go over how to use Peardeck. We've actually already created one video on Peardeck, but we're creating this video as well just to give you a little bit of intro on practically as a teacher how to use it, and then connect it to some of our DEH through lines, which I'll show you later and explain those later. So first, just to go over a little bit what they covered in the last video, you'll notice in our last Peardeck video, they kind of cover what each of these buttons do and how to be able to add Peardeck or student responses to your slides. So in the last video, they showed you can add Peardeck by going to Get Add-ons and then getting the Peardeck feature, and then opening Peardeck, and it'll open this little pop-up window on the side here when you click that button. And then if I want to add different things to my slides, like I want students to respond through text, I could click the text button. If I want to have students add through draw, I can click the draw button. Cool, so that's kind of what they covered in the last one, and how that sort of feature connects with universal design for learning. But yeah, now I'm going to show you a little bit more practical here how Peardeck would actually work if you're a teacher. So if you want to start your lesson, so for students to be able to join in and have an actual lesson for a class, you'd first click Start Lesson, and then you would decide whether having it student-paced or instructor-paced, and this just decides can students click through the slides or not. These slides that you created on Google Slides, can they click through them or not? And also I forgot to show you, but there's this one special feature here too where Peardeck has some templates of slides if you want to use those ever. Cool, so like I said again, we're going to start lesson and it's going to be student paced or instructor paced. I picked instructor paced at first, so now students can't click through the slides, but I can. So the first thing that happens is it gives instructions to students on how to join Peardeck. And so you could have this on your Zoom call or just shared on your screen, and students can go to joinpd.com and type in this code, or you can give students a direct link straight into the Peardeck. So let's go to my other browser here and see what that looks like from the student's end. So I just got the link and I'm gonna copy and paste it into my browser here. That was a link that I gave students. And so then first it jumps you straight into your Google account. And so students can pick their Google account and they'll have to sign in, and I'll do this process. So now that I've signed in as a student, you can kind of see what it looks like from that side. So first they ask how students feeling today. You can skip that question if they want to. And so now that it's teacher paced, the slides can't click through unless the teacher clicks through the slides. So this is what the student sees right now. So here I am on my teacher view, and I could click X, or I could click Start Class. It'll take me to this screen, and now when I click through the slides, whatever slide I'm on, if I go back to my student view, will be the slide now that the student's on. And also you can see on this student view that whatever task is given, so now students can draw, so I can draw on this screen now. Great, and let's go back here. And let's say I switched it to turn on student paste, which I can switch it to student paste right there, bottom corner, clicking on the three dots. Now that it's student paste, these two arrows pop up for the student. And now I can click through the slides as a student. So now I'm on my student screen, I can click through the slides. This one's text, so now students can type in. Look through that check mark, shows that my response was recorded. Students don't have to click enter or anything. Let's go back to the teacher paste. Now from teacher paste, Peardeck has instant surveillance. So for example, I can go to show responses and look, I can see that student response that I gave earlier. And maybe another response that I gave. Yeah, so you can see responses students have given through your show responses here. Oh, yep, here too. You can see student responses. There's one of my other responses. So teachers get live surveillance of student responses. And you can see that through show your response. Great. Okay, and so that's most of the features I think people need to see on Peardeck. Again, you can stop student paste whenever you want to. So yeah, usually I would have teacher paste on for most of my lessons, and then maybe I would switch it to student paste if students asked for it, or if I was ending the assignment and before I ended the assignment, I usually would switch back on to student paste, just so anybody who missed the assignment or would want to go back on missing work could do that. So let's just say I'm finished with my lesson now and I want to end my Peardeck. So students can still access your Peardeck, which is really nice, through that link. And I'll show you also how you can go back and access that Peardeck. So if you end that session, which is no big deal, then one thing you can do is click on that 3 little bars over here and click Review Sessions. And you'll see your session here. And even if you didn't click that end button, even if you just exit out of the Peardeck, it's still going to end it for you. And if you click on, your slides and those 3 little buttons, then you'll show it here. One thing that I always like to do here is Peardeck lets you name the session. So for naming sessions, I usually like to do the period and then whatever subject it is. And so that's a good way to distinct each of your lessons. So you can give or start a Peardeck lesson for each of your periods in the day. You can divide up classrooms that way. And then you can look back on student work by going to the teacher dashboard. And here is just a page of all what students submitted. And then if I also want to go back, I can actually go back into that presentation after I click end and go back into that presentation. Students always go back into that presentation. You just need to give them the link, maybe give it to them on your Google Classroom page or some sort of page that they all go to, and you can just give them that actual link. Great, so that's a little bit of an intro on how Peardeck works. And next, I'm going to jump into the DH through lines.